how you doing? Today is Friday, the 25th of July 2020. It's Mask Day, where if you are shopping in a shop or you're traveling on transport, you've got to wear a mask. It's mandatory. The time now is about midday. So here we are down at Hackney Market, Wrigley Road, and as you see, there's got one in, and then you've got to get out on the other side. Hackney Market is a place where a lot of black folks normally come and do shopping over the many years. The Windrush generation, Today is another nice day. I passed somebody earlier on, and I said, "Oh, it's a hot day today," and they says, "Well, no sunshine." I said to them, "Well, you can't have everything, but you can try it." And then in sometimes trying to have everything, you lose quite a lot, So temperature today is about 24 degrees. I was really in two minds about wearing a top, and today was a good decision because the weather is warm, very warm. So we got to enjoy it, or thank our blessings, as some people would say. I'm realizing the angle of this camera is actually taking half the front there, so I'm going to actually move it. Right. Believe it or not. Alright, so now you can see it in full. I know up there that the front of it is knocked out half the picture. Right, so today, the 25th of July 2020, official Mask Day. Today, all the women of the UK have suddenly turned Muslim. Why? Because they all got to wear the mask like the Muslim women. Well, not the mask, they got to wear a face covering like the Muslim women. In the Muslim women's case, it's about vanity. It's about not being sexually seductive to men, because men are very, very weak, They see women and they just go crazy. So today, all the women are now Muslims because they now have to wear the face mask. Well, basically on London transport and any form of public transport, and when you go shopping, any form of shopping mall. And there are some other places as well, they're mandating that you wear the facial covering. They don't say a mask, they say facial covering, so which is really interesting. But on my bus ride down today, I came across sort of a strange dilemma. You always have this typical thing of an old white lady in the bus stop, and the typical thing is, do you let her on first, or do you give a preference? And I said to myself, hey, wait a minute. I said this in my mind. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't say that to anybody. I was just thinking, hey, wait a minute. Your ancestors enslaved my ancestors, and even up to today, you want me to give you white privileges. You see? Is there irony there? So, but really, there's two things going on there about white privilege and treating the elderly with respect. I mean, normally in our culture, we don't put our elderly people in nursing homes. They usually stay in the same house, or if you're very rich, upper class, you build a granny house in the back. But we ain't rich, and we're not upper class, and so we can't build a granny house in the back. So most people, black, white, pink and green, because of the economic situation, they put the elderly in a place called a nursing home or nursing care. And it's not really in our culture. But that has been one of the places which has been hit the most by this COVID virus. And the largest amount of casualties has been from the nursing homes, you know. But then on the reverse side, on the other side, in the homes where you have multiple generation and multiple family occupation, I think Leicester was a case in point, but not necessarily so, not necessarily true, because there they had a lot of ethnic minority from India and Pakistan. Now I hate this word Asian. You see, Asian denies you your identity. It denies you your culture, right? It's designed for you to have no recognition. So the Pakistani and the Indian culture, or Bangladeshi down there as well. So it's a mixture of culture. Their family are very close knit, and they say that is one of the reasons why there had been a peak in infection, and they had a local lockdown. So the whole of Leicester got locked down. I don't know now whether it's actually lifted, or Monday it will be lifted, and they'll go back to normal, you know. So, but the other thing they saw in Leicester was that they had really bad working conditions for some of the immigrant migration population. In fact, they were being paid half the minimum wage, doing twice the work, in bad conditions. And what made it worse, the products they produced, which was like clothing, went to some of the top shops and sellers here in the UK. So they was embarrassed on that front as well. So I guess they've stopped getting supplies from those kind of factories, underpaying their workers, bad conditions, and those people themselves, their personal lives is literally hell. If you aren't making enough money to pay your regular bills, or if you go to the Bible, you're not making money to get your daily bread, then you're in a whole heap of pain every day, probably every hour of the day, you know. You're undernourished because you can't eat food. You're overstressed because you're overworked, right? You're overstressed again because when you leave the working condition, you go home now, you got loads of domestic situation, everybody's under pressure, there's fighting, there's screaming, you know. You probably got social services, you got police knocking at the door, you got neighbors complaining, you know, and that just adds to the whole situation. And so that is one reason why it's spurred up there. But today, 25th of July 2020, temperature today about 24 degrees, and sunny with a bit of cloud, as you can see in the background. We're down here in Hackney, Wrigley Market. The council has a one-way system. You're going that way, you come out the other way. The government has said, mandated by law, and you can be fined for not wearing your mask or a face covering on London transport or any form of public transport, or when you go shopping in any food mall. Plus there's more restrictions like in other places like pubs and restaurants, where you actually have to give your name and details when you go there, so that if anybody there has the virus, then you're contacted. Also, they'll take down where you work as well, because if it was you who had the virus, that means the people at your workplace may have the virus, and they'll probably have to lock down your workplace, meaning everybody's going to have to take 14 days in isolation. So that's where now it's coming towards the end of the third week of the 80% of the easing of the lockdown. But here's what, today I'll add another 5% of restrictions on that, so it's not 80% of the lockdown, it's going to be 75% of the easing of the lockdown, because this new restrictions that you have to wear a mask when you use public transportation or when you're out shopping has added to it, So today is a Friday, usually it's a busy day, so this is the third week. It's all about getting back to normality. What is normality? I don't know what normality is. You tell me what normality is. But that's all from me at the moment. I'll see you next time. How you doing? Part 2 of today. Earlier on I said it was Friday the 25th. No, it's Friday the 24th. So I'm a day ahead of my time. This is part 2. Let's say this is part 2. We're down here in Gellet Square. Let me just check this. Yep, we're still recording. We're down here in Gellet Square. We have a fantastic mural up there on the wall. It's been recently painted in the square. It may not be up there too long, because the whole square, I think, has been redeveloped. They had shops over on this side, and then they've shifted them temporarily on the other side. So they're going to develop this side, so that mural might go, but at least it's something that they've done for the people in Hackney. Time now roughly about 2 o'clock on a Friday, 24th July 2020. 75% of the lockdown has been eased. If you watch the other videos, I've said 80% of the lockdown has been eased. That's because today, officially, if you go on the bus, the train, if you go on London transport, any kind of travel, then, and you go into any shops, shopping centre, you've got to wear a mask. If not, you're going to get fined. So today is the implementation of that. So whereas the days it was 80%, now it's 75%, right? So we got 25% freedom and 75% lockdown. Have I got that the wrong way around? Anyway, so our freedoms have actually been decreased. So here we are. This is Dalston, Gellet Square. and this is a mural here that's been painted. This is where people hang out. It reminds me of that song, Sitting at the Docks of the Bay. And people waiting for things to change, but things are not going to change for the better for people on this level. You know, things will continue to get worse.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I every time though, every time I doubt.
So
I just have to trust.
This is Gellet Square. People just hang out here. They just have a drink. From creative people to people who are just passing the time.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Imposter syndrome. It's a real thing.
People who haven't got nothing to do.
But I realised that actually, if I still go for that kind of imposter syndrome.
We're going to do a part 2
it's a waste of energy
in a couple of minutes. I've got some background noise I've got to get rid of.
There's worse things.
Yo, why is the opposite? You know what?
Can I put you on camera?
Can
I put you on camera?
No.
Alright, just stay there then. I just say your voice.
Yeah, I said to I said to that brother there to just take him out of the road because people were making a spectacle. You know, you can see the guy was distressed, yeah? He needs a social worker.
Yeah.
So my mum there helped him out of the road and we walked over and he was going to take him around the corner to calm him down. So
and he turned on him. Let me guess, he's turned on him.
No, he didn't turn on him. The guy was distressed. He was crying and he was clearly upset and he was hugging the guy.
Yeah.
You know, hugging the guy. And this guy was going to take him round here, try and calm him down.
Yeah.
And then the cops turned up. But, you know, the cops weren't doing anything. They obviously know him because they were talking to him. They know him. But he needs a social worker. You know, that's what he needs. You know, the cops ain't done nothing. The cops ain't done nothing. They're talking to him, trying to calm him down. Apparently he's meant to be going somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, they're handling it. It looks like they're handling the situation okay.
So what do you do?
Yeah, just checking that we're recording. Alright, so another part of the Friday, the 24th of July 2020. Here we are down in Gellet Square. And early on we saw a mural that they painted, which is going to probably be knocked down, and the whole square will probably be redeveloped. It's a thing called gentrification. There's two things in sight. You see the corner of the vortex, and in the background is a looming building. That is one of the developments that almost over the station, Ridley Road station. So this is part of the gentrification of Hackney. I could make a prediction in about 5-6 years, this square as it is would not exist. They've moved a lot of the units from the other side, from that side here to the other side behind you. And they're going to start, maybe they'll knock it down, maybe they might keep the aesthetics as in listed building. I really don't know. I haven't done the research into what the council's plans are. I can do, but I'm a bit lazy in doing that. You know, most of the time I come out, I don't really have the intention to really do anything. It's that I'm there on my sort of normal business and like my normal flight. So the Vortex there is a jazz venue. Very good friend of mine normally gets gigged there is Ray Carlos, and Ray tonight, Friday, usually have an event in somebody's front yard, a couple of streets just down the road. And literally for the last couple of weeks, Ray has called me to come down to do some videos. Last Friday I didn't go. In fact, I had another event to go to, so I didn't go. So Ray usually gets some events there. He's a sax player. The ska and blues, and he's connected with the Windrush genre and things, because last year he had done an event here, and this year there was another event, but it wasn't here, it was somewhere else. So that is the Vortex there. That is my friend Ray Carlos. Usually gets gigged there, plus tonight, Friday night, he'll be out in somebody's front yard, just down the road, and he'll be doing it live and everybody will party. I've got my phone with me, but I bet you once I go back home, I'll get a call from him, or I'll just wander down there and I know he's going to be performing. So this is Gellet Square. This is part of the heart of Hackney, the old Hackney, the last remnants of the old Hackney. The new Hackney, I don't know. But if we chuck the coronavirus into that mix, what is next, we don't know. But there's one thing I can see: the high level of finance in relation to buildings and apartments. It continues with a fury, a madness. But meanwhile, people at the bottom run of things, it's getting worse and worse and worse for them, and it's going to get worse because in a couple of months, when those who are on furlough will be let go, they'll be unemployed. So these folks here will be fighting with those people on the unemployment line, and the people who've just been sacked are very highly qualified and probably more sought after, because they're still in that 9-to-5 mode of doing things, where these people will take some time to get up to speed, but I guess it depends on the employer, so but all that subsidy is coming to an end. The government furlough in a couple of months, and the companies that are there would either be left to sink or swim, continue employing people, and if they can and they have a viable business, right? But we just don't know, But here we are, Friday, down here, Gellet Square, part of Hackney, the last remnants of Hackney, because it's going through changes. We're on pause at the moment because of the virus. This Gellet Square is like sitting at the docks of the bay, waiting for things to happen. Here's what. Things ain't gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. The government are pulling away support for the businesses and the people on furlough. The government immediately increased payment to people on the lower end of things, right? That shows me that they know it's a realization that those people are always under the breadline or under the waterline. Now, after this is over, when it's going to be over, I don't know. It might be another another 6 months up until Christmas, or might continue much further than that. But the government, when it comes to subsidy of the people on the lower end, they don't need to increase money with inflation. They just need it to stay the same. Prices just naturally rise, and eventually those people again will drown. Or whatever subsidy they've given them now, added to whatever it is, if they take that away, those people move deeper under the waterline. What I am noticing is there's more people out on the streets now. I've seen more people on the streets, put it that way, for whatever reason, drug, homelessness, maybe abuse in the home or what have you. But there's more of that on the street. That underclass of people is now on the streets again. So from March to July now, okay, they were accommodated in hotels and given places, but now I could see them gradually being let out for them to fight for themselves and to their own devices, you know. So I really don't know what's going to happen next. If you can tell me, you know. So anyway, that's the video report, part 2. The part 1, correction on that, from Hackney Market. That was wasn't 25th, it's the 24th today, and I hope your weekend will be interesting.